You know, there was a time when movies and filmmakers didn't ask permission. They didn't run their scripts through 12 focus groups. They didn't worry about trending topics. And they definitely didn't care if it was tasteful. They cared about one thing and one thing only. And that is, will this absolutely rule all at about 11:45 p.m. on a VHS on a Friday or Saturday night? Because the 80s and the early and mid 90s gave us a very specific type of movie, the kind you discovered late at night or on VHS and your parents either didn't approve of or your cool dad was sitting there watching them with you, because these were the kind of movies that promised everything right on the box art, and that was bullets, blood, and babes. And that's what this series is about. This is appropriately titled Bullets, Blood, and Babes, a celebration of the kind of over-the-top, gratuitous, ridiculous, unapologetic action exploitation films that weren't trying to be prestige cinema. They were trying to get rented and played at midnight on your cable stations. These are the movies I watched, I found on cable, I found on VHS, movies I definitely probably should not have seen at the time, but love them anyway. And we are going to count these down each and every time. 10 great ones starting today with our first episode. So pop that tape in. I got you. Let's go do this. All right, so we're going to start this thing out the right way with the movie that I was watching the other night that took me back to the 80s, watching these types of movies with my dad, with my brother, and it does not get more 80s crazy than this movie right here. It is 1984's Ninja 3, The Domination.
He is the most feared and powerful warrior. His soul possesses the body of an innocent woman and transforms her into a lethal assassin. An epic struggle of superhuman strength and supernatural forces. Ninja 3, The Domination.
This one gave me the idea to go ahead and start doing this series. And if you've never seen Ninja 3, The Domination, I genuinely envy you, not because it's a bad movie at all, but because you're going to get to experience this insanity for the first time, and I'm kind of jealous. The movie opens with a full-scale ninja massacre on a golf course. Yes, a golf course. A lone ninja wipes out an entire group of law enforcement officers, gets shot roughly 900 times, and then, as ninjas want to do, transfers his spirit into the body of an innocent bystander. The bystander is Christy, who is a part-time telephone line technician, part-time aerobics instructor, who suddenly starts experiencing blackouts after she decides, yeah, sure, I'll take this dying ninja in the middle of nowhere. I'll take his sword and have it passed on to me. She starts waking up after these blackouts, having committed ninja revenge murders. This is one of those Canon Films productions where the studio clearly said, look, man, we got some ninja stuff still laying around from some of these other movies. Let's make a movie and use that stuff. And that's what they did. And it is 80s in all the best ways. Canon is notorious for reusing costumes, weapons, sets. Efficiency was the name of the game for Canon Films. So in this one, you get a bizarre blend of supernatural possession, martial arts revenge, aerobics, 80s era neon signs on walls, just random neon lighting, aerobics, you know, with the thongs over the leggings and the high socks, boom boxes, like arcade games in the house and boom boxes in the house that are transferring the spirit, keeping that spirit locked into this girl. It's as 80s as you get. It sounds as crazy as everything I'm saying in all the right ways. There's also scenes involving the payphone and the haunted sword levitating. It's so ridiculous and awesome, it has to be seen to believe. And yes, like many 80s exploitation-leaning action films, it absolutely leaned into that late-night, naughty energy with a few scenes, making it a staple of this kind of thing. And then you get Sho Kosugi, one of the last supposedly real documented ninjas, showing up as the heroic ninja to try to stop this possessed rampage, and he plays it completely straight, and it makes everything around him seem even more absurd, but somehow grounds this movie that is an 80s fever dream of epic proportions, and my goodness, I could not love it more. Ninja 3, The Domination, gets some extra time because it starts us off here on this series. All right, coming in at number 9 it's believe it or not, it's not as crazy as that one, but it is 1994, eking into the 90s here with The Dallas Connection, and this is a Sedaris film, and we're going to probably have plenty of those. I could do a whole list of just those, but The Dallas Connection is one of those movies that feels like it was made specifically for a video rental shelf. It probably was. I mean, the movie starts, girl is dancing on the bed with no clothes, basically holding on to a ceiling fan. Okay, the plot technically involves an international computer chip conspiracy. These guys are wearing it in their necklaces, and a group of assassins trying to control it. But let's be honest, that's not why anyone remembers this movie, and not really why they watched it. It's the late era direct-to-cable, direct-to-VHS action and exploitation / sexploitation in this film that knows exactly what it's doing. We follow a group of spies and hitmen chasing each other across Dallas while exchanging gunfire, posing in glamorous settings, random long shower scenes, and generally behaving like everyone just wandered in from 3 different movies and maybe a Playboy photo shoot. There's a very distinct early 90s aesthetic here. Slick lighting, stylized action, feels very home movie-esque. It's designed to keep late night viewers watching. It feels like a lot of the performers are used again and again because they're late night staples. You recognize them from lots of VHS direct-to-video movies. Dallas Connection, crazy, great, fun, ridiculous. You can check it out on Tubi right now. It comes in at number 9. Now at number 8, one good Andy Sedaris film deserves another. And we're going to get probably our latest that you're ever going to get on this series. This one's coming in at 1998, but it still feels stuck in late 80s, early 90s. That's Return to Savage Beach. Andy Sedaris films are his own cinematic genre. I'm telling you, I could do a whole list of just those, but we won't. We'll sprinkle those in. But he knows this genre really well. And if you know Sedaris, you know what I'm talking about. Return to Savage Beach continues the adventure of the group of secret agents operating in every mission that they've got to take their clothes off some way and shoot big guns and have big explosions, tropical locations, high-tech weapons, an alarming amount of explosions. An alarming amount. But hey, go big or go home, and that statement is used in a lot of different ways. I'm just going to say that. The story revolves around a buried treasure this time, a hidden cache of gold, and villains trying to get their hands on it while our heroes race to stop them. But the real appeal of Sedaris movies is always the tone, the slow motion action, things bouncing, colorful characters, a very self-aware understanding of the audience. Sedaris was a master of the direct-to-cable, direct-to-home video stuff. So you get those elaborate shootouts, elaborate shower scenes, gratuitous scenes, all of that. It's a lightheartedness underneath it. It's peak late night energy. It comes in at number 8. Now at number 7, we go in with one from the late 80s, and that is actually one that I really like. It's another Cannon film, this time starring Jean-Claude Van Damme with Cyborg. Look, Cyborg exists because Cannon Films had already spent money building sets and costumes for a Masters of the Universe sequel and a Spider-Man movie, and both projects fell apart. So rather than waste the materials, they made Cyborg, and that's the most canon film story imaginable, and it is true. The movie takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where a deadly plague has wiped out civilization, and a cyborg is carrying the cure and must be escorted safely to Atlanta. Now, as a kid, I loved it because I live near Atlanta, and Jean-Claude Van Damme is going to escort the cyborg there. He plays a mercenary. The alternate foreign title for this is Slinger. He's got this cool knife and everything, but he reluctantly agrees to protect her while being hunted by a gang of pirates. That's what they are, is like road pirates, led by a very intimidating villain, one of the most intimidating of the era. The movie's gritty, sweaty, shot with whatever locations Cannon had access to or could jump in on and shoot and get the heck out of town. Abandoned factories, scrap yards, deserts, whatever they could do. There's even like a beachside scene. I can't tell if it's a lake or the beach, but that gives it this raw, gritty comic book atmosphere that actually works for the movie. And like many action films of its time, it's going to sprinkle in a lot of that late night sleaze in there and innuendo. There's just random stuff that you see out of nowhere, although Van Damme's character plays a good dude in this one. So it is a little rough around the edges, but man, it has that vibe and I dig it. Cyborg. Now, number 6 is a very underrated film. It's 1988's Action Jackson.
Jackson. Jericho Jackson. There's a nickname associated with it, isn't there? Something like excitement, enthusiasm, esprit de corps. It's action.
And Carl Weathers, I'm telling you, he should have gotten to be a bigger, like, lead action film star. He definitely should have. But he did get his own action vehicle here with Action Jackson, and the movie absolutely commits to the late 80s action B-movie style formula. Weathers plays Jericho Action Jackson. It's a tongue tie. A Detroit cop who's taking on a corrupt auto magnate played by Craig T. Nelson, who is having an absolute blast as a villain. You can tell he is. And the plot involves corporate corruption, assassins, and enough explosions to qualify as a small war. But surprising here is some of the elements and actors that you see. Besides Carl Weathers, you get an appearance by Sharon Stone here in a role that is very different from the Sharon Stone people remember, although in some ways, the lack of clothes ways, it's very fitting, and people do remember for that. But this was early in her career, and the film leans into the era's willingness to kind of push boundaries with its nightclub settings and provocative elements. Watching it now, you get one of those, oh, wait, man, Sharon Stone was in this doing, that stuff moments. Yeah, she was. And it's a good movie. The movie also features Vanity in a supporting role, bringing even more 80s music, video energy to the mix. It's the kind of movie that felt tailor-made for an old VHS at a mom and pop video rental store or late night cable rotation. I dig it, man. If you haven't checked out Action Jackson, you can check it out on Tubi right now, I believe. It comes in at number 6. Now, number 5 shifts the tone a little bit darker than most of these, bullets, blood, and babes movies, but it still fits the bill. It's 1984's Fear City. Fear City is a grim, neon-lit version of New York City. It follows a martial arts trained killer who's targeting dancers while a washed-up ex-boxer tries to stop him. See what I mean about fitting the bill for this series? The cast is killer in this thing. You got Tom Berenger, Billy D. Williams, who's awesome, Melanie Griffith in an early role, another example of a now very famous actor appearing in a much grittier early project, kind of exploiting things than you might expect. And the film leans very heavy into the 80s urban exploitation aesthetic with the sweaty, neon-soaked nightclubs, back alley, gritty violence, nighttime, wet feeling, grungy, a general sense of danger. It's less over-the-top and tongue-in-cheek than some of the entries on this list, but absolutely captures that late-night cable, dirty old VHS crime thriller energy with all the grindhouse elements overlapping. Fear City. Check it out. It comes in at number 5. Now, number 4 shifts us back to a light, fun tone, but adds a little bit of a creature feature vibe to it with 1988's Hell Comes to Frogtown. You've got Rowdy Roddy Piper fighting mutant frogmen. That's the pitch, but that's only part of the pitch, because the rest of the pitch is, oh yes, by the way, it's post-apocalyptic, and all of these beautiful women need Rowdy Roddy Piper and his sexual prowess and what he can provide in order to further the human race. And they take control of it with a basic chastity belt to make sure he doesn't use it in off hours, I guess is the way to say it. But yeah, it's in a post-apocalyptic future, and humanity's survival depends on Rowdy Roddy Piper and his prowess. And let's just say his ability to repopulate with as many women as possible. Piper plays a drifter who's recruited on a mission to rescue even more beautiful women to get to repopulating with from a tribe of mutated frog creatures. Yes, really. That's it. The movie's bizarre, campy, and completely self-aware of its own absurdity, but Rowdy Roddy Piper, who I love, man, he just plays it with enough seriousness to make it work while the world around him is pure 80s exploitation sci-fi weirdness. There are moments that are very much of this era, playful, outrageous, and designed for the midnight crowd and to be provocative and fun. Hell Comes to Frogtown is an absolute blast. I have it on this Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray, but I believe you can also check this one out on Tubi.
How am I supposed to,
There's a flap.
Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Number 3 is very hard to find, and I have it on a DVD. That's the only way I know that you can get it and own it. But boy, if you can find it and watch it, it is worth your time. It is 1988's The Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
Andrew Dice Clay is Ford Fairlane.
LA Drive is man.
In a movie so hot,
Got something cooking in the microwave?
Get out!
you'd better bring protection.
Maybe it was just a pot pie.
Ford Fairlane.
Andrew Dice Clay plays the Mr. Rock and Roll detective, and he is investigating a murder in the music industry in Los Angeles. The movie is loud, it's flashy, unapologetically early 90s, filled with cameos from actors and musicians, and the plot revolves around a musician, conspiracies, a parade of eccentric characters, including Wayne Newton as the villain, which is kind of surreal still to this day. You have Ed O'Neill in here playing the head cop who is always on Andrew Dice Clay's case, and he singing some booty time across the USA. This thing is great. And it's absolutely crazy. You got Robert Englund in this film. You even have Tone Loc in this film. Man, it's full of nightclub scenes. It's got 80s frat guys with their 80s Barbie doll Corvettes. It's got beautiful women and their fraternity, and Andrew Dice Clay getting in a sorority house, It is absolutely crazy. The tone would absolutely ignite social media today and get this movie canceled before anybody even got out of the screening of it. And that makes it great. Back then, it wasn't all that. It was just another weekend rental that didn't offend anybody. It was so much fun. It still is. It feels like a time capsule when studios were willing to just go for it and let a comedian bring his full stage persona into an action comedy film. The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, I can't recommend it enough. From 1990, it comes in at number 3. Mr. Rock and Roll Detective.
Booty time! Booty time!
Now, coming in at number 2 is one that's also from the mid-late 90s. It's like right there at 1995, might be 1996. It is Barb Wire. Set in a dystopian future, Barb Wire stars Pamela Anderson, who's a nightclub owner and a bounty hunter navigating a world of rebels and corrupt authorities. And the story is essentially, you can argue it is kind of a riff on Casablanca. If Casablanca had motorcycles, explosions, mid-90s comic book aesthetics, thongs, big breasts, all that kind of stuff, you know, if Casablanca had all that, this movie leans super heavily into style, leather outfits, smoky clubs, stylized action, skin on display. It's very much a product of its time. It embraces it. It has an incredible 4K here by Turbine where you can see all of that in its glory. Look, this fits the bill 100% of bullets, blood, and babes. You got to check out Barb Wire. And that just leaves number one, and it is one that I just watched again recently, had a absolute blast. It is 1992's Under Siege. This movie actually works because it's just a genuine, solid action film to start with, while still developing plenty of early 90s excess. I actually messaged Erica Eleniak about this because I hadn't seen this forever, and then the 4K came out, and she looks great. She definitely supplies the babe portion of that for this movie. She jumps out of a birthday cake in a legendary scene. But Under Siege follows a Navy battleship taken over by terrorists, only to discover that the ship's cook, played by Steven Seagal, is actually a former Special Forces operative. And the villains in here are incredible, and the cast is loaded because you've got Erica Eleniak, and she does a great job in this movie. And I'm not saying that just because she's a nice person. She does a great job, and so does Steven Seagal. But the villains are Tommy Lee Jones and Gary Busey, and they are having a great time being villains in this movie. And the movie balances legitimate action thrills with a few moments that became infamous on VHS and late night cable. It's Erica coming out of the cake. It's worth the price of admission. The teenage audiences were definitely all over that one, and that's why they remember it. But the movie itself is as solid as it comes. It feels like the perfect home video hit, and it still works. It is a super high recommend. Now, I think you might be able to check it out on Tubi or something if you want to try before you buy. But if you want to experience this movie and the ultimate bullets, blood, and babes 80s, 90s action power with all of the great picture, the 4K from Arrow Video, I highly recommend. You can pick it up at Barnes & Noble or Amazon or whatever. It is worth the price of admission, and it comes in at number one. So there you go. These movies weren't trying to be prestige cinema. They were trying to entertain you, which is the most important job of a film. They were trying to shock you, make you laugh, get you a little excited in all kinds of ways, maybe blow something up, and sometimes that's exactly what you want. And this is just volume one of Bullets, Blood, and Babes. So let me know what belongs on volume 2, and are you interested in this series? Does it take you back? Does it give you those good vibes? Give you some good ideas of stuff to watch that you missed or just forgot? That's what this is all about, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. That really helps out the channel. If you'd like to support what we're doing here a little bit more, you can join my Patreon. The link is in the description, and you'll get your name in lights on every video. Big 80s Hollywood style, behind the scenes looks at my filmmaking, special members only videos, and so much more, and everything helps the channel, and I really do appreciate it. But until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. I know.